Hello all you beautiful people. Today's video is going to be my perspective on how to backside board slide. We're at Dallas Park here in San Diego, and I only got about an hour and a half before it's going to start raining. That's what the weather is saying. So it's going to be a short video just on my perspective on how to do backside board slides on transition. First thing is going to be cleaning up some of this park to make sure we have some nice transition to roll on. I've been doing board slides a lot lately, so I figured why not make a quick short video on some of the tips and some of the things that I've been taking away from recent board slides. And hopefully you guys can use them and improve your board slides, or maybe not. Looks like Mother Nature is not on my side today. It is raining. Try number two, day number two. This time I brought the squeegee. So before we get into doing backside board slides, the only tricks we really need to know how to do before doing backside board slides are just backside kick turns and backside rock and rolls. I made a full video on how to do backside rock and rolls. I'll leave a little link up here, one of these sides, up here I think, how to get into backside rock and rolls, but I'll briefly scan it today. Something that I was thinking is there's this nice bank at this skate park, and what I did is just went up, kick turned, and went around. And when you're doing kick turns on a bank like this, there is that split second where you're just kind of in stall mode and you're basically peaking on your momentum going up, so you have to turn back around. And at that moment is when you're doing your rock and roll. So you can kind of practice them on a bank and just getting it on top of the bank, getting your wheels over the bank and getting back over. That's one way to test it without having to worry about locking up, and it's just a little less scary. So if you're just kind of tinkering this and you're just getting into backside board slides, I definitely recommend just kind of testing your waters on a bank. Now, when we get into the actual board slide, we're gonna start on some super small transition. I do have some rails on my board, and I think having rails on your board will definitely be a benefit. I wouldn't be able to be doing these backside board slides as good without rails. I think rails are super crucial for something like this. You could do it, but you just have to go faster. There's more friction, so the rails allow you to have less friction, and you kind of can worry about your technique of the board slide a little more than the actual sliding aspect. Now, the first thing to doing backside board slides is going into them at a really, really harsh angle. And when I mean harsh, I mean a sideways angle. You're not going straight up the ramp. You're going very diagonal at the ramp, and you're gonna use that to your advantage once you get into the actual board slide. So yeah, just going up to the transition, you wanna hit it at a very sharp angle, and then slowly you're gonna use your back foot to churn and pivot your board at that point and to lap it into the rock and roll. So you're going at an angle and then you're kind of lapping it into the rock and roll. It's almost imagine like you're going at an angle and you're power sliding, but instead of power sliding, you're just using your back wheels to power slide into the rock and roll, just so that you can get that friction to kind of push yourself and your body forward. And then once you're doing that, you're into the rock and roll. Try to lean towards your back trucks and keep the slide sort of pinched in between your back trucks and the board, because there's a way to keep more momentum, and you're kind of guiding into the transition, where if you hit it straight on the deck, it's harder to slide because then your wheels are hitting the transition. And honestly, all you want is just the board hitting. You don't want the wheels or anything else, because as soon as you tap your wheels down your trucks, you're gonna stop sliding. So definitely it's a little bit of balance, teetering act, and just keeping it in that back pinch spot. And if you can keep it in that, it works in your favor when you're sliding back in, because just like when you're doing a kick turn on the bank, you basically use that pivot point in your concave in your board and use that to pitch your board out, using your back foot to lean into it and let over the coping so you don't hang up and you turn back in. Now, all of this is easier said than done, but I'm definitely going to slow some of these clips down so you can just kind of see the process of how I do backside board slides. Trying to board slide on a flat wall is much, much harder than trying to board slide in a corner, because the corner, you're going to come into it at an angle and then you're going to slide, and then it's going to kind of push you out of it. So a corner is definitely a really good opportunity to learn board slides. It kind of pushes you around it. It might seem harder in theory when you're watching it, but I definitely recommend finding a little bit of a corner or some sort of, angle in your transition, because if it's just a flat wall, you're having to really balance things out, where if it's a corner, you're not having to balance so much. The corner will balance it out, and you just have to find that sweet pinch spot. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed this super short video on how to backside board slide on transition. Just a short one because of the rain, weather, and everything. Something I've been having a lot of fun on was backside board slides on transition lately. So I figured, why not share some of the tips that I've experienced lately, share with you guys. Let me know what you think. Make sure you smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you in the next one. Mash.